ማዘር ትሬዛ ኣደ ድካታት ብዙሕ ነገር ናይ ዝሃበና ኣይኮነን እቲ እንነብሮ ነገር ማዕረግ እንደይ ነፍቅሮ እዩ ብዙሕ ናይ ዝሃበና ኣይኮነን እንህቦ ነገር ማዕረግ እንደይ ነፍቅሮ እዩ ሮማዊት ካቶሊካዊት ሰበይቲ እያ ኩሉ ህይወታ ንድኹማትን ጽጉማትን ንምርዳእ ወፍያቶ ዝበዝሕ ግዜያት ናይ ህይወታ ድማ ኣብ ከተማ ካልካታ እንዲ ኣሕለፈቶ ስታ ኣብኡ ኮይና ንጽጉማት ትሕግዝ ዝነበረት ሚስዮናዊት ጉጅለ ብምጥርናፍ ተዓይን ነበረት ማዘር ትሬዛ ኣብ 1910 ኣብ ርእሲ ከተማ ሪፐብሊክ መቄዶንያ ስኮቢጄ ተወልደት ገና ኣብ ግዜ ህፃንነታ ድማ ፈላሲትን ንጽጉማት ምሕጋዝን ዝብል ጻውዒት ከም ዝተቐበለት ብምርግጋጽ ፈላሲት ክትከውን ወሰነት ኣብ መበል 18 ዓመት ምስ ኣብ ኣየርላንድ ዝርከብ ማሕበር ፈለስቲ ተጠርነፈት ምስ ኣሕዋታ ዶሪት ናይ ቁርባ ዋርሕ ስልጠና ድሕሪ ምውሳድ ናብ ህንዲ ክትከይድ ዕድል ረኸበት ኣብ ህንዲ ምስ በጽሐት ከመምህር ኮይና ክሰርሕ ጀመረት ፍቕሪ ንበይና እኽልቲ ኣይኮነትን ትርጉሙን የብላን ፍቕሪ ተግባር ሕወሳ ኣለዎ እዚ ተግባር ድማ ኣገልግሎት እዩ ዝብል ዝነበረት ማዘር ትሬዛ እቲ ካብ ካልካታ ዝረኣየቶ ሕሱም ድኽነት ተልእኾ ልግሲ ዝብል ማሕበር መስሪታ ንጽጉማት ክትሕግዝ እዩ ደሪኽዋ ንሳ ኣብታ ከተማ ኣብ ዝነበረትሉ ግዜ ክልተ ዘሰንብት ፍጻሜ ኣጋጢሟ ቀዳማይ እቲ ኣብ 1943 ዘጋጠመ ዓቢ ደርቂ ክኸውን ከሎ ካልኣይ ድማ ኣብ 1946 ኣብ መንጎ ሙስሊምን ሂንዱን ዘጋጠመ ዕግርግር እዩ ኣብ 1948 ማዘር ትሬዛ ዝነበራ ካልእ ኩሉ ንጥፈታት ብምቁራጽ ሙሉእ ግዜኣ ንድኹማት ኣብ ምሕጋዝ ወፈየቶ ንክብሪ ህንዳውያን ድማ ባህላዊ ኣከዳድና ህንዲ ትኽደን ነበረት ማዘር ትሬዛ ንብዙሕ ዓመታት ምስ ጉጅለ ውሑድ ዓቐን መግቢ እናተመገበት ነቶም ጽጉማት ዝኸውን ገንዘብ ኣብ ምእካብ ምልማን ትዋፈር ነበረት ኣብ 1952 ቤት ንዝሞቱ ዝብል ማሕበር ከፈተት እዚ እቶም ዝሞቱ ድካታት ብክብሪ ንኽሞቱ ዝብል ዕላማ ነበሮ ምስቶም ኣብ ኣፋፌት ሞት ዝበጽሑ ሰባት ድማ ብዙሕ ግዜ ትሕልፎ ነበረት እቶም ዝሞቱ ሰባት ኣብ ዓለም ዝግደሰሎም ሰብ ብምርካቦም ጽቡቕ ስምዒት ይስምዖም ከም ዝነበረ ይፍለጥ ምስ ግዜ እዚ ንጽጉማትን ድካታትን ንምርዳእ ዝብል ተልእኾ ንዓበየ ኸደ ኣብ 2013 ድማ ቁጽር ናይዘን ማሕበራት ናብ 700 ክበለ ናብ ልዕሊ 130 ሃገራት ድማ ተዘርግሓ ማዘር ትሬዛ ነቶም ኣብ ዙርያ ዘለዉ ሰባት ናብ እምነታ ክትቅይሮም ኣይትፍትንን ነበረት ግና ኣብ ኣጋሞት ምስ ሃይማኖቶም ዝኸይድ ሃይማኖታዊ ስርዓት ትህቦም ነበረት ኣብ ሃይማኖት ኣዝያ ጽንዕቲ ዝነበረት ማዘር ትሬዛ ኣብ ምንጻር ጥንሲ ፍትሕን ትሪር መርገጺ ነበራ ማዘር ትሬዛ ዝያዳ ቃልቦ ህዝቢ ዓለም ዝረኸበትሉ ግን ኣብ 1960 ማልኮን ሙሪድ ንዛንተኣ ኣመልኪቱ መጽሓፍ ዶኩሜንተሪ ፊልም ምስ ጸሓፈን ሰርሐን እዩ ኣብ 1979 ድኽነት ኣብ ምጥፋእ ብእትገብሮ ዝነበረት ጻዕሪ ሽልማት ኖቤል ክትሽለም በቂዓ ካብኡ ዝረኸበቶ $192,000 ጉንዑ ድማ ንድኻታት ኣወፈየቶ ማዘር ትሬዛ ዋላ ብዝተፈላለየ ጥዕናዊ ጸገም ትሳቀ እንተነበረት ናብ ብዙሕ ቦታታት እናተንቀሳቐሰት ንጽጉማት ምርዳእ ግን ደዋ የበለትን ኣብ 1997 ድማ ኣብ 87 ዓመታ ዓረፈት ሸሞንተ ምኽርታት ማዘር ትሬዛ ቀዳማይ ሰብ ሚዛን ብዘይብሉ ንዓይጥ ዓመድ ባህላ እዩ እዚ ብዘየገድስ ግን ኣብ ቁረጥ ካልኣይ ጽቡቕ እንተገበርካ ብዘይ ምኽንያት ካብ ጥቕሚ ርእሱ ተበጊሱ እዩ ገይርዎ ክብሉኻ እዮም እዚ ብዘየገድስ ግን ጽቡቕ ጥራይ ግበር ሳልሳይ ዕላማኻ ናብ ግቡእ እንተብጻሕካዮ ንሓቂ ዝጸረሩ ናይ ሓሶት ኣዕሮ ክለዓሉኻ እዮም እዚ ብዘየገድስ ግን ዕላማኻ ናብ ሽጡ ክተብጽሖ ጥራይ ጸዓር ራብዓይ እቲ ሎሚ ጽቡቕ ዝገበርካዮ ብሰባት ጽባሕ ይርሳዕ ይኸውን እዚ ብዘየገድስ ግን ዘይርሳዕ ኣምላኽ ስለ ዘሎ ጽቡቕ ጥራይ ግበር ሓምሻይ ቅንዕናን ሓቅነትን ብምዝውታርካ ብደቂ ሰባት ነቐፌታ ክስዕበልካ እዩ እዚ ብዘየገድስ ገርህን ቁኑዕን ጥራይ ይኩን ሻድሻይ ንውፅዕ ሰብ እንተሓገዝካ ገሊኦም ክቕየሙኻ እዮም እዚ ብዘየገድስ ግን ዝከኣለካ ወፍዮ ኣሎ ሻውዓይ ንደቂ ሰባት ዓቕምኻ ዘፍቅዶ ወፍዮ ኣሎ ንሶም ከዓ ብኲናት ክወግኡኻ እዮም እዚ ብዘየገድስ ግን ፍቕርኻ ጥራሕ ይለግሶ ኣሎ ሻምናይ ብዓመታት ዝሃነጽካዮ ህንጻ ብሃንደበት ክዓኑ ይኽእል እዩ እዚ ብዘየገድስ ብተስፋ ጥራሕ ይነጽእ
Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Mother Teresa was always her own person, startlingly independent, obedient, yet challenging some preconceived notions and expectations. Her own life story includes many illustrations of her willingness to listen to and follow her own conscience, even when it seemed to contradict what was expected. This strong and independent woman was born Ganja Agnes Boyagiu in Skopje, Yugoslavia, on August 27, 1910. 5 children were born to Nicola and Dronda Boyagiu, yet only 3 survived. Ganja was the youngest, with an older sister, Aga, and brother, Lazar. This brother describes the family's early years as well off, not the life of peasants reported inaccurately by some. We lacked for nothing. In fact, the family lived in one of the 2 houses they owned. Nicola was a contractor, working with a partner in a successful construction business. He was also heavily involved in the politics of the day. Lazar tells of his father's rather sudden and shocking death, which may have been due to poisoning because of his political involvement. With this event, life changed overnight as their mother assumed total responsibility for the family, Aga, only 14, Lazar, 9, and Ganja, 7. Though so much of her young life was centered in the church, Mother Teresa later revealed that until she reached 18, she had never thought of being a nun. During her early years, however, she was fascinated with stories of missionary life and service. She could locate any number of missions on the map, and tell others of the service being given in each place. Called to religious life. At 18, Ganja decided to follow the path that seems to have been unconsciously unfolding throughout her life. She chose the Loreto Sisters of Dublin, missionaries and educators founded in the 17th century to educate young girls. In 1928, the future Mother Teresa began her religious life in Ireland, far from her family and the life she'd known, never seeing her mother again in this life, speaking a language few understood. During this period, a sister novice remembered her as very small, quiet and shy, and another member of the congregation described her as ordinary. Mother Teresa herself, even with the later decision to begin her own community of religious, continued to value her beginnings with the Loreto Sisters and to maintain close ties. Unwavering commitment and self-discipline, always a part of her life and reinforced in her association with the Loreto Sisters, seemed to stay with her throughout her life. 1 year later, in 1929, Ganja was sent to Darjeeling to the novitiate of the Sisters of Loreto. In 1931, she made her first vows there, choosing the name of Teresa, honoring both saints of the same name, Teresa of Avila and Teresa of Lisieux. In keeping with the usual procedures of the congregation and her deepest desires, it was time for the new Sister Teresa to begin her years of service to God's people. She was sent to St. Mary's, a high school for girls in a district of Calcutta. Here she began a career teaching history and geography, which she reportedly did with dedication and enjoyment for the next 15 years. It was in the protected environment of this school for the daughters of the wealthy that Teresa's new vocation developed and grew. This was the clear message, the invitation to her second calling, that Teresa heard on that fateful day in 1946 when she traveled to Darjeeling for retreat. The streets of Calcutta. During the next 2 years, Teresa pursued every avenue to follow what she never doubted was the direction God was pointing her. She was to give up even Loreto, where I was very happy, and to go out in the streets. I heard the call to give up all and follow Christ into the slums to serve him among the poorest of the poor. Technicalities and practicalities abounded. She had to be released formally, not from her perpetual vows, but from living within the convents of the Sisters of Loreto. She had to confront the Church's resistance to forming new religious communities, and receive permission from the Archbishop of Calcutta to serve the poor openly on the streets. She had to figure out how to live and work on the streets, without the safety and comfort of the convent. As for clothing, Teresa decided she would set aside the habit she had worn during her years as a Loreto sister and wear the ordinary dress of an Indian woman, a plain white sari and sandals. Teresa first went to Patna for a few months to prepare for her future work by taking a nursing course. In 1948 she received permission from Pius XII to leave her community and live as an independent nun. So back to Calcutta she went and found a small hovel to rent to begin her new undertaking. Wisely, she thought to start by teaching the children of the slums, an endeavor she knew well. Though she had no proper equipment, she made use of what was available: a euro, writing in the dirt. She strove to make the children of the poor literate, to teach them basic hygiene. As they grew to know her, she gradually began visiting the poor and ill in their families and others all crowded together in the surrounding squalid shacks, inquiring about their needs. Teresa found a never-ending stream of human needs in the poor she met, and frequently was exhausted. Despite the weariness of her days, she never omitted her prayer, finding it the source of support, strength and blessing for all her ministry. A movement begins. Teresa was not alone for long. Within a year, she found more help than she anticipated. Many seemed to have been waiting for her example to open their own floodgates of charity and compassion. Young women came to volunteer their services and later became the core of her missionaries of charity. Others offered food, clothing, the use of buildings, medical supplies and money. As support and assistance mushroomed, more and more services became possible to huge numbers of suffering people. From their birth in Calcutta, nourished by the faith, compassion and commitment of Mother Teresa, the missionaries of charity have grown like the mustard seed of the scriptures. New vocations continue to come from all parts of the world, serving those in great need wherever they are found. Homes for the dying, refuges for the care and teaching of orphans and abandoned children, treatment centers and hospitals for those suffering from leprosy, centers and refuges for alcoholics, the aged and street people. The list is endless. Until her death in 1997, Mother Teresa continued her work among the poorest of the poor, depending on God for all of her needs. Honors too numerous to mention had come her way throughout the years, as the world stood astounded by her care for those usually deemed of little value. In her own eyes she was God's pencil, a tiny bit of pencil with which he writes what he likes. Despite years of strenuous physical, emotional and spiritual work, Mother Teresa seemed unstoppable. Though frail and bent, with numerous ailments, she always returned to her work, to those who received her compassionate care for more than 50 years. Only months before her death, when she became too weak to manage the administrative work, she relinquished the position of head of her missionaries of charity. She knew the work would go on. Finally, on September 5, 1997, after finishing her dinner and prayers, her weakened heart gave her back to the God who was the very center of her life.